Morning, Louise.
Morning, Rob.
Morning, everybody who's watching this episode of God is Supernatural. Is there a hunger stirring for 1 Corinthians 2:4? My message and my preaching were not with wise and persuasive words, but with a demonstration of the Spirit's power, so that your faith might not rest on human wisdom, but on God's power. Are people becoming fed up with human wisdom and hungering for the reality of God's presence and his power? That's what we're wondering. We've just had our healing meeting, February healing meeting last night, Sunday night. And yeah, Louise, I mean, where are people all coming from?
Yeah, it's pretty amazing where people will travel from. And I think on Sunday night, there was a guy there that had come on a coach, an hour and 40 minutes on the coach from Oxford. There were people from Marlow, people from London, somebody from near Watford. So I think it's all over an hour for these people to get
Yeah,
to us. Real, like you say, a real hunger. And something that somebody said to me was, "We don't find anything like this near me." And I just want to say, but the Holy Spirit is near you. But I guess people need training and direction in how to connect um,
yeah.
with the Holy Spirit, and that's what they're not finding.
No, no, they're not. Clearly they're not. Because actually for our deliverance coaching sessions, which we have been doing monthly on a Saturday morning, we've had people from Derby, haven't we?
Yes, yeah, that. I mean, I travel to Derby regularly, and that's a good 3 hours
Yeah.
journey in the car. So, yeah, mind blowing that people are doing that.
So we're going to just share a couple of testimonies of from the Sunday night and the hunger there. So one of them is that gentleman who came in the coach, an hour and 40 minutes on the coach from Oxford, and then of course to get back, he had to get a taxi to Reading Station and then get the train back. So that shows real hunger, but why? Why was he so hungry? Well, I mean, this is the story. He had connected with us, and I think you had um, connected with him, Louise, because he said that he had been suffering from migraines, and clearly these have been persistent and powerful migraines, and was wanting prayer for that. And you connected saying that we were praying for him. And anyway, his testimony was that his migraines immediately left him and
Mm.
left him thinking, I want to know more. I want to know more about this church where this thing happened. So it was that connection and his
Yeah,
migraines going that meant he was there on Sunday night, which is amazing.
yeah,
What we didn't know is that he wasn't a Christian. And I think when you had spoken to him earlier, he seemed a bit nervous to you,
yes, yeah. He did. He was a man of few words, and I brought him in and introduced him to a few people, but he did seem very nervous at the beginning before the service started.
which I guess is explicable now. But
Yes.
but he was wanting prayer, and one of the team, I think, just had a word of knowledge about leading him to the Lord. So they did that, and he just experienced this real lightness. As he gave his life to the Lord, he experienced this real lightness within his body and his head. And so when I was talking with him afterwards, the full story came out, and he was no longer diffident or shy at that point. Louise, if you're pleased to know. But isn't that amazing how
Yeah,
God is, leading people to salvation and putting a hunger within them for the reality of God?
yeah, and just a few words to say, we're already praying for you, and the Holy Spirit worked, and he was there as a result of that.
Yeah, yeah. So the other gentleman that we're going to talk about, so this is a guy from Watford. So he connected with us again by email, and
Yeah,
and I hadn't realised. I mean, it'd come to me and I passed it on to you. Hadn't realised he was living in Watford. But yeah, so he travelled. How long did it take him to get to?
I think, is it about an hour to Watford? He said just outside Watford. So, yeah, and he said that he had come because there's nothing like this round me. He was that guy that said that.
Yeah,
Um, and he'd come wanting freedom. He since being in his teenage years, he'd suffered with severe anxiety and confusion, and he
yeah,
was really wanting freedom from that. He'd had medical intervention, he'd been on medication, which he himself had decided that he didn't want to be on anymore. And with the help of his GP, he has come off that, but he's still experiencing this anxiety and not being able to comprehend things clearly in a short space of time.
yeah,
So he said that this had happened from his teenage years. We asked him if anything significant had happened in that period of his life, and he said he couldn't think of anything. So we just asked the Holy Spirit to come and allowed him to do that. And then within the team, we just felt that the Holy Spirit wanted to bring release through tears.
yeah,
So we said that to him, and as soon as that was said, he just began to sob immediately. And we just allowed that to happen and encouraged him to let it happen, because a lot of healing can happen
yeah,
when the Holy Spirit brings that about. And then while that came to an end, I just asked him, did anything come to mind? Was there any particular feelings or any incidents? And again, he said no. So we just continued asking the Holy Spirit to bless, and he sobbed a little bit more, and then through his tears, he just suddenly said, "It was my dad. He was cruel." So obviously there was a lot of pain and hurt there, and we allowed that to come out. We did talk about forgiveness with him, and he said that he'd definitely forgiven his dad. So we continued to pray, and there was a sense of release through the tears, but also as he was sobbing, there was some kind of throaty noises happening,
yeah,
and he experienced some release from that.
yeah.
Um, by the time we finished praying, he just felt completely at peace. Um, we did talk to him about coming back. We felt that there was more that the Holy Spirit wanted to do, and we gave him some suggestions of
Yeah.
how he could receive more prayer. But he went away sensing relief and peace. But yeah, God was faithful for him.
He certainly was, and yeah, deep inner healing,
Yeah,
deliverance. We serve a wonderful God, don't we?
yeah, yeah. It was amazing to see him go away looking much happier.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. So guys, we want to encourage you in your own ministry development to continue walking, expecting God to come with power. People are clearly hungry. They need God's power. We need God's power. And if we can help you in any way, we'd love to do that. I mean, do come along to any of our healing meetings or any of our training and discipleship events that we run regularly. Just check us out on our webpage, networkvineyardchurch. That's not it, networkvineyard.church. Yeah, check us out, and we look forward to seeing you next week. God bless you.